Hey, if you're just logging in and finding this video, just fast forward about 5 minutes and then that's where the lesson will actually start. In the meantime, I'm going to go post the link. Link to join, and V, back up, link to join, highlight, link, enter, edit, shift, open, update, update. All right, so we should hopefully get everybody in here. Look at this messy hair of mine. Hey, if you are sitting through this introductory part of this, I go live and then I go post the link and then I come back and then we chat for a while. And so it's absolutely fine if you decide, you know what, I need to go and do whatever for a few minutes. In the meantime, if you happen to be stumbling across this video on the internet, jollyrogerukulele.com. Just go there. Most everything is explained there. Good morning, Sandy. How are you today? First in, you get an A+ for the day. All right, let me make sure that this is posted properly. View page. I should be all close this, right? View page. All right, let me go here and make sure this link is working correctly. Dunk. Da, 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 da. That's me. Ugh, good loving. I'll have to change that cover paper. Let's see. Sandy's doing good. Red's in. Red's logging in from Wheat Ridge. Hey, guys, remember to tell us where you're from. That's always super fun. Sorry. Renee, what I know from my email box is it goes crazy, crazy, crazy. 17 emails from Renee. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to read. I just saw your emails there. I haven't had a chance to read them yet this morning. I will get to them. I'm actually looking forward to the chaos and confusion and hilarity that you have quite clearly added into my day today. So I'll get to it here moment. I'll get to it here this afternoon and find out what the heck you were doing there. Wonderful. Vicki in from Bozeman. Terry, glad from Terry is from Denver. One of the great cities in the world if you don't really think about it too hard. I actually had, I was doing a conductor workshop now, it seems like 87 years ago now, probably a few months back. And one of the guys was from, I want to say Denmark. I think he's from Denmark. He might have been Norway. One of the other conducting students. And he says, well, Gary, you're from Denver. What do you think that those of us from out of town should do for fun? And I hated it because if you're from Europe, I can't send you to the art museum because your art museum in Europe is way better. We have an okay one in Denver, but it's not Europe good. And I can't send him to the famous churches around here because there's nothing close to Europe. And you don't send him to the downtown mall because every town in Europe has a downtown mall that's way better than ours. I had no idea. I was like, well, everybody who comes to Denver spends one night, rents a car, and goes up skiing. So I don't know what to tell people to do who visit Denver. And I actually like Denver, so I don't mean to be negative about the town. I just know that it's not really set up for European visitors that well. Let's see. Hey, Linda, welcome in. Vicky in from Bozeman. Diane, just watched yesterday. Oh, you watched yesterday's. I always wonder what the experience is like to watch these as a recorded thing. I occasionally have to go in and double check something, but to sit and listen to them all as a recording, it's probably about the same as being live. I don't know. I hope it is. But so you guys that have been having to go back and check some recordings, I guess let me know what we can do to improve them. It's kind of hard because whatever happens, you know. Let's see. Elizabeth in from beautiful Weld County. Jerry's in the day. Pauline, 91 degrees in California. You're going to have a hot summer this summer. Well, every summer's hot, I think, in California these days. Glad you're here, Pauline. Kathy's logged in. Happy Wednesday. Hump day to you. And Terry, indeed, Denver is a great city if you don't think about it too hard. And I don't think, yeah, exactly. We don't think about it too hard. We don't have bugs. That's one of the things that's great about Denver. we have, I don't know, not necessarily a, I guess there's enough diversity here to make it kind of interesting. It's better than it used to be. We have all four of the major sports. That's something. Linda's in from Sonoma, California. Doesn't the name of that just make you happy? Sonoma. Hey, Fran, welcome in, guys. Make sure you tell us where you're from. Just something fun to do. It's about Aloha. Measure 17. Is that a typo? Aloha. All right. Renee, serious. Look. You could rattle on all you want, but I think we got typo issues here. Measure 17. Yeah, it's a typo. It is absolutely a typo, Renee. Thank you for pointing out. I was going to repost it and then I forgot. So, yeah, it's absolutely a typo. It should be 2100. And thank you for pointing that out. We'll fix that once everybody gets loaded in here. Hi, Phyllis. Carol. Nathan, Colorado. 7,800 feet. She has even less bugs than Denver. Bugs... right now we're having our moth invasion this year. Apparently it's going to be worse this year than other years. And the moth invasion is a good thing because all the bears and all the other animals up in the mountains eat all the moths. And so the moth, we hate it in town here, but yeah, it's weird. We got to be pro moth. They get into my studio here and they try to get out the window. I'm always busy saving moths and wasps that get in here. Let's see who else in. Oh, Valerie came in. Hey, Valerie. Patty and Tom are here today. Laurel, liftoff 2:30. Oh, is it going to be 2:33 today? So liftoff in an hour and a half. You guys will be done with this. You can unplug me and go plug in the space thing. I guess I'm not quite as excited about this space thing because it's a commercial venture that I would be if it was actually NASA. Although I still don't understand why we need to go out to outer space. Maybe there's a reason with science, but I don't know. I haven't quite figured out why we do that. Southern Oregon, and Louise logging in. First fire already. That's a bummer, Louise. That's absolutely a scary, scary thing. The West Coast has had a terrible time with that. Aloha, Hanny. Phyllis, I like the Coors Brewery. I grew up not very far from the Coors Brewery, and I went on the VIP tour one time when I was 21. I was 21. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go on that tour, the VIP tour. That's my entire experience with Coors beer and the brewery. I don't drink anymore, so I probably would have better stories if I did. But yeah, the brewery was pretty cool. MB Kruger, So MB is here today. MB is one of the very top people on the planet, and now I have to act serious and I have to act like I know what I'm doing. I welcome MB. So delighted you're here. She has inspired me in so many ways. I'm just delighted she's here. Lynn made it in finally. Good to see you. Barbara, welcome in. Elizabeth, cats love the moss. I know. Right? My house. Let me tell you about what goes on in my house. We are 100% like, I'm not in charge at the house until there's a moth, and then I am 100% responsible. So I've had to. We have a little moth, a jar, a cup, and a little thing, and my job is to go catch moths and toss them off the balcony. So, Elizabeth, let's see. Chris is in today. Carol, welcome in from Puerto Rico. The iguanas. Oh, the iguanas eat the bugs. Oh, that's interesting. Very good. Christine, welcome in. I would. All right. So let's get going. We have most everybody in. We got 30 in. We'll probably end up with another 10 or so as people sneak in here, and you guys know the drill. What we are doing today, we're getting to the end of the introductory sessions for all of you guys that were sort of newer players that were learning. We're also getting to that point where we are having new members coming in and they're like, this is kind of hard, right? And we also have those of you who've been around a while that are pretty good at this now and should probably be thinking about, I'm just going to take all of Gary's stuff, put it in a book, and then I'm going to go teach some other people how to play ukulele. So the one thing that I think is important is, and we'll talk about this during announcements, is that we're going to start the whole process over on June 1st, which is next Monday. In addition to that, we'll continue on these daily lessons. I'm not positive what next week's theme will be yet. I got to look through my things and see which I can toss together. Plus, next week we start Summer Institute, which is Monday night. So we have 3 things starting next week. And in addition to that, which is kind of crazy, the city of Lakewood, where I normally do my evening teaching, sent me an email. They're setting me up on Zoom. So I'm going to be doing some Zoom classes for the city, both in ukulele, guitar, and get this, harmonica. And so we're going to be doing those things on Tuesday and Wednesday evenings. So should be a lot of opportunity for you to grab a ukulele, grab an instrument, do something musical almost every night of, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm set up to do. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'll sit in my house and cry, and then we'll start again each week like that. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully, some of this is meaningful to you. Hopefully, you're becoming a better musician, not necessarily a better ukulele player. That's always iffy in the first place, but really trying to get where we can make you just understand music, understand how all this stuff goes together, and really just play better, enjoy playing better, have the right thoughts in your head about music. I think so often we feel like we're an audience and we have to watch these great performers, and that's true. We want to do that. We want to support these really high level, awesome performances that we can. But there's also a time when we just want to sit and make some music, right? And you don't have to be great to do that. You just have to have a little bit of training, and that's what you're here for. So, all right, let's make sure I haven't missed anybody logging in. Jerry's here. Jerry, I'm working on that banjolele. I wish I could tell you it was done. I haven't really been working on it, but I'm going to tell you I have been. I'll get on it this week. Let's see. Love to come to harmonica one. Yeah, the harmonica one's silly. Honestly, you can learn to play harmonica in about, it takes about 15 minutes, and then you spend the rest of your life trying to get it to not squeak and squawk. So, all right. First song today is Aloha. Oh, let's go ahead and get that up. I do want to, as always, when we talk about this song, I want to remind you with all of my heart and soul that I do not know how to speak Hawaiian. I have no Hawaiian roots. I have no legitimate ethnic roots. I think I'm Irish, and I think I am German, but I don't know for sure. My heritage is a little murky when it comes to who is actually doing what when. And so I have no way to pull this off in any meaningful way. I am not even going to pretend to sing it. What I am going to do is we're going to walk through all of the stuff except for the singing part, and we'll just do that through the melody line. Now, let's go to we've only got 3 chords. The reason I like this song, 1, it's only 3 chords. 2, it's public domain. And 3, it really was written by the Queen of Hawaii, which there actually was one. And when I laid this out I found the oldest sheet music I could find and put it on, used that sheet music to create this arrangement. It really felt like it dropped onto the ukulele pretty conveniently. So there's a pretty high possibility that she actually did write it on ukulele. It's one of the very few pieces of repertoire that this instrument has. Everything else we borrow from all the other musical traditions and stuff onto this instrument, but this one and 5'2" are almost certainly written on ukulele, just the way they lay out onto the fretboard. So let's talk about the 3 chords. Okay, hopefully by now these are not super complicated. You got your A chord. Okay, and be aware it's different than F chord. Okay, F chord, your index fingers here. A chord, your index fingers here. And before we get too far along, let's fix one typo in measure 17 on the ukulele melody line, the very last one. I put in a mistake, right? I put in that F chord. You want to change that to 2-1-0-0 instead of 2-0-1-0. So when we get down there, when we're playing the melody, don't play an F chord. You'll know that that's not correct when you do that. It's supposed to be an A chord. And we found that typo last time. I didn't get around to getting it fixed quickly enough. And so here we are again, facing it again, right? So that's an A chord. Beautiful little chord, nice and easy. Yeah, beautiful. That's one we learn. I actually teach that on night 1 in my ukulele classes. D chord, index finger on top, middle finger here, ring finger there. Okay. If your ukulele is too small, you're going to have an awful hard time cramming all your fingers into that. And so, as I always say, I think most adults with normal size hands should probably be playing a tenor. However, if you've got a little bit shorter fingers, you're probably a concert person. Okay. The problem with concerts is just a little bit less room on the good news is there's a little less room that you don't have to stretch so far. The bad news is a little bit a little bit less room to squish your fingers into places. Okay, so that's your other chord. And then the last chord in this one, if you're hanging out on an A chord, just push this finger up, this finger down, and then add your ring finger right there, and you've got E7. Okay, those are the only 3 chords. All right, let's see what we can give it. Let's see if we can just get through this. I'm going to hum the melody. As you guys know, I can't sing at all, and it's actually MB's fault. So I used to, I said, come on, teach me how to sing, and she's like, no, I'm not doing it. So kidding. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Da da dum, da dum, da 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 dum. Dum da dum dum da 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 dum. Dum da da dum da 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 dum. Dum da da dum da da dum dum da da dum. Dum. Aloha, oi. Aloha, oi. Da da dum, da 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 dum, da 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 dum. Dum, a fond embrace. Da 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 dum. Until we meet again. 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, and that's the basic idea, right? So at this point, you're thinking, I see a whole bunch of other people have logged in today. Hi, Alex. Hi, Bob. Lindy's in. Louise. Yeah, they do teach us in Hawaiian schools. I do know that. Welcome in, Brandon. Joyce is here too. Oh my gosh. we really got to act like we know what we're doing. All right. You notice what I was playing this just 4 beats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing fancy, making your chord changes. Okay. This sounds absolutely gorgeous if you're a singer and you want to do the arpeggio picking. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. That sounds absolutely gorgeous. This is a song, the slower you play it, the better it goes usually. Really stretch out those long notes and make them into something really beautiful. And those of you guys that are younger and you're not busy staring at your AARP membership, Elvis made this song famous back in the day. I think in the movie Blue Hawaii, if I remember right. And we probably wouldn't be singing it today if it weren't for Elvis. And we are going to have an Elvis week coming up. This would be one of the songs we'd include in the Elvis week. Probably, it was kind of became famous because of him. Now, you've got your chords, and so if you're by yourself and you're a great singer, you're all set. If you don't like singing, you don't need to sing, right? And we now know that we have the ability to play the melody. That way, if you find another ukulele player, they play the chords, you play the melody. Nobody has to sing, or everybody can sing. Doesn't matter. It's going to sound delightful. Okay, let's give it a try. Just the straight line melody. Again, this week, we're just assuming you're doing okay with playing tablature. Starting next week, we'll go right back to the very beginning for those of you guys that are fighting the tablature just a little bit. I teach 17th century ukulele, which means that plucking individual notes is a big deal to me, and it will be a big deal to you. And being able to read the tablature is where all that begins. Okay, let's go from the very top. We're going to just play through it one time, nice and slow. Don't rush. Okay. Also, the timing on this is kind of tricky. There are a few places where you'll hold a long note, and then for some crazy reason, then you'll hit that same note again. So measure 4 is a perfect example of where you'll hold he, lay. And it's for a long time. It feels like so don't rush. Okay, from the top, just the melody notes. Read your tablature. I'm going to count in 3, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Isn't that a pretty melody? I love that one. I just think that's great, and it's ours. We get it. It's one of the like I say. There's about 12 songs that were written in the history of ukulele that were for ukulele, and that's one of them. And that's we get it. It's ours. Okay. Um, you know, when you buy a ukulele, you're thinking, I'm going to play that song by that guy, right? That, you know, Over the Rainbow, and you're going to play Riptide, and you're going to play Wagon Wheel. And then after that, you run out of things that were, oh, and Lava. Lava is the other one you play. And you don't play Tiptoe Through the Tulips because you know that that's controversial. We forget is this one's sitting there waiting. This is a real ukulele song. This is one we ought to work on. All right. That's we've now studied our chords. We've studied the melody. We've gotten kind of sense of how the song goes. So now we got to go through and run through the tough uke. This will be a little bit messy here in a couple of spots. For the most part, the tough uke lines out pretty well. There is, however, one super annoying thing about the tough uke. It is really hard to tell the difference between that note, that chord on tablature, and that chord on tablature. It looks so much alike that you're going to probably mess it up pretty good. If you don't mess it up, I'm going to feel gypped because I messed it up. I'll probably mess it up today, right? So making sure that it's either a 2-1-0-0 or a 1-2 something something, and getting those two things correct is going to be one of those potentially problematic things on this song. The other thing that comes up, and if you drop all the way down to major 7, right in the middle of major 7, you're going to get this E7 chord. That's the chord we're supposed to have on, but the melody note is a G sharp. Okay. And it sounds wrong every time you hit it. Okay. Okay. And I've done this on my really fine ukulele, and I've done this on really crummy ukuleles, and it doesn't matter. It sounds kind of wonky at that moment. It makes sense musically, but it doesn't sound. It sounds like what's going on. And what's happening there is that's this moment in the song where there's a lot of tension that we're then going to resolve with the next few notes. So when you get there and you hear that, know you're doing the right thing. Okay. Last thing I would suggest, this one, because it's such a flowy song, we're probably going to want to do it thumb down. But absolutely, as you're working it on this one at home, go back through and try plucking the whole thing. It sounds pretty good that way, too, to be honest. I would guess when this was originally done, she probably just did chords and singing, probably. But she was knowledgeable about the ukulele, and it's not an accident that it's that it lays out pretty nicely for us as a melodic or a chord melody piece. Okay, let's give it a try. And again, I'm assuming after all these weeks that tough uke is making sense to you. If it does not make sense to you, that's when you come back next week and we start digging into from the very beginning. Okay. Let's see, a couple of thoughts over here. Oh, Kat made it in today. Good. Joy says I can sing when I focus on it. No, I don't really want to focus on it. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, nice. Let's see. Okay. I'm reading all the comments, making sure I'm not missing anything. Important thing, remember when we get to that last measure, instead of playing the F chord like it says play there. And for those of you on tough uke, you're gonna go bar on 4 with an F shape in front. That's also an A chord. Okay, so you've got this A chord for most of the song, and then when you get to the end of the song, if you're playing tough uke, play that one. And of course, if that one's a bummer, just play that one. Okay, from the top, nice and slow, don't rush. 1, 2, 3. How'd we do? Thumbs up? Killing it? um, How are we doing on time? We got two other songs to get to today, so I don't want to spend another. I don't want to go through it again. Let me know if something on there doesn't make any sense. But I think, to be honest, guys, when I'm teaching here in town, and I teach the introduction to ukulele class, I put this song and Scarborough Fair, which is your song for tomorrow, in the packet. The truth is, we hardly ever get to these two songs. They're just kind of too hard, a little bit too hard for an introductory class, sort of meant as a stretch piece. So if you're playing this and you're playing it well, that probably means that you've definitely mastered all of the skill sets that are necessary. If you're not playing it well, then you ascertain, am I playing it too quickly? Is that why I'm not playing it well? Am I playing it pretty good in most of the places and then wiping out in a couple of places? Well, that's a good sign. You just need to go fix those couple of places. And then I think the other thought is, God, I can't even begin to deal with that. So that that, right? And so then you just go back and you say, I'm going to play melody. I'm going to work on these tough uke on some other songs, some of the little bit easier songs to work on. When I'm playing that, my whole brain is involved in the piece of music, and I played this a lot of times in my life for weddings and all kinds of stuff. And even still, it takes a pretty heavy duty concentration level to pull this one off. So just know it is a stretch piece if you're a brand new player. It's definitely one of those things where I want you to be able to play it. It's a beautiful piece and it's ours, but it's not necessarily one that's just going to come lilting out of your fingers and into existence very easily. It takes a little bit of work. All right, send me an email if you got questions about. But I think you know where you're at. Let's see. Let's see. Let's hit some likes on our video today. That's a good idea. Why don't we do that? Joyce, you're cute. Fran, I'm so glad I thought. Yeah, okay, we talked about that. And Linda went, yeah, Linda number 3. Okay, we decided all the Lindas are number 1s. All right, so next up, we got to cram everything in here. And so It's Only a Paper Moon will be our next piece of music. So let's pull that up, get that going. Guys, I've been playing this one on guitar for a while, and it's super hard on guitar, but it's really fun on ukulele. And so I hope we enjoy it. I hope we like it, right? And so we'll run through some of the tough stuff on here. But the good news about this one is it's not as hard as some of the other ones that you've had to deal with over the last few weeks. And you have some really nice old school jazz chords in here that are not, they're not going to ruin your life. There's one moment where we're going to have to focus, but for the most part, it's a fun piece of music. A couple of now that all of you are here, and it looks like we got almost everybody here. One, tell people what you're up to. Don't be afraid to let them know you're doing ukulele, and tell them to come to these broadcasts. I decided last night, so I was putting the flyer together for the summer. We're just going to keep doing this all summer. We've got every Monday through Friday at this time slot, or the recording. Obviously, we're going to do this all summer long. Second thing, Monday nights, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is in your time zone, we're doing the Summer Institute. And that's where we talk about what the heck are bar chords? What's music theory? Why is it called the key of C? Which chords go together? Which ones don't go together? And then once we figure that out, how can we switch them? How can you take those goofy little pieces of paper that just have the chords on the top and then the words, and then you go and you get those from your ukulele sing-alongs? How could you turn that into something real, right? And so we talk about that. What software should you be using? What should you be thinking about in terms of instrument care? When should you change your strings? For most of you, you should have already changed your strings, right? And so we'll talk about all of that stuff through the summer every Monday night. I've been doing it for years. It's sometimes I get sick of listening to myself, but it's good and important stuff. And I think it'll make your left hand stronger. It'll make your right hand stronger. It'll make you understand how all of this stuff works together. And frankly, if you've got a couple of, if you really pay attention in Summer Institute, you'll be able to go and play other instruments as well, because you will understand how the music works at a more fundamental level. It's something ukulele players, we are so busy running into finding the next Beatles tune or the next John Denver tune or the next tune or the next tune or the next tune that we never take a minute and just breathe and say, how does all this stuff work together? And I was very lucky to have a great piano teacher who realized I wasn't going to be a pianist, but I could be a musician. And so she taught me a ton of theory on piano, and it worked out great because now I can play this instrument and other thing. I can do other things in music besides be a piano player, which was going to be brutal for everybody. So that's Monday nights, and then I think it's Tuesday nights, or I'm going to have the Zoom classes through the city of Lakewood. I think you can log into those if if you register for those. I do not think you need to be in Colorado. I don't know that for sure. It's government stuff, so sometimes there's weird rules about it. But I'll be getting that stuff out to you guys as well. And so Monday nights, and I think it'll be Tuesday nights. I can't remember if it's Tuesday or Wednesday, one of the two. You guys will know pretty quickly that we're going to have all of that stuff going for you, and a great chance just to get really solid on this instrument this summer, right? You're not going to be able to travel as much as you wanted to, probably. You shouldn't really be going out to dinner every night because you'll die. And so let's just spend a lot of time working on ukulele. Let's make sure that all of you guys that are in listening to this at this moment are like, you know, I'm going to be an expert ukulele player at the end of the summer. And you honestly, you probably could. Okay. Last thing that comes up, and I get this a lot. A lot of you guys have sent me emails and sort of half apologize for taking lessons from somebody else or going through some of these other online classes. I'm not at all against those things. I think all of these teachers have something else to teach you, and take what you can from them. Just know that there has been a long tradition of making you think that you need to sing and strum in order to play this, and you don't. And so just know that I'm kind of a lonely voice in the forest at the moment, but I won't be forever. This is the stuff that people are going to want to be playing over the next 10 years, because the music teachers that are coming up now, they don't want to teach recorder. They want to teach this in their classroom. So the kids are going to be doing more and more with this, and you're ahead of the game, and you can help out with that, right? Be a good example of what playing this like it's a lute in 300 years ago. And I think that overall you'll end up with a better overall musical experience. Okay, that's the announcements. Let's play It's Only a Paper Moon. Does guitar class work the same? Restart next week. Guitar class, I think, restarts today. I think. Let me double check. It's on a little bit different plan. The guitar class is. Guitar class is starting Thursday. It restarts on Thursday. So if you own a guitar, everybody has a guitar under their bed. Every single human being. And so if you want to get that out and get it tuned up, come in on Thursday and we'll start. And it's the same exact program as I teach on this. It's just the instrument's gigantic and hard and unwieldy. Elizabeth, what are we doing Monday night? I know, right? How did we get to June? Monday nights are awesome. You can just mark it on your calendar and come do that instead of whatever you're going to do. We're going to do early music week. Do some Jonathan Dallin. If not, a lot of you guys don't know necessarily Dallin's music, but he's one of the not original. He's just a very old school English lute player, and he did a nice job of writing some stuff down, which is not typical of most of the lute players. And so we have some really nice stuff, and we'll probably do a Dallin week. That's a good idea. I'll add that to our list. Okay, I will. Summer Institute will be at 7 p.m. MDT. So sometimes that's a typo. It should be 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I will be sending out additional information about that probably today or tomorrow. All right, let's play some music. It's Only a Paper Moon. Again, you got to be old to know this movie, but there was a movie out there with Ryan O'Neal and his daughter Tatum, and somebody in here will remind me what the name of the movie was. Was it Only a Paper Moon? And they were Bible salesmen traveling across the country and scamming people. They would sell them Bibles and then end up stealing their money. And in that movie, they sang this song. And so it's a super cute moment in cinematic history. So I like it because it's just Tin Pan Alley, 1933. Everything, the paper chases. Thanks, MB. If I need to know anything smart, I just check with MB. This Tin Pan Alley music works on this tremendously well. And you guys know, most of you, that this instrument was hugely popular through the 20s and 30s. And so a lot of the old sheet music actually has ukulele chords on it. Okay, so let's run through these chords. Make sure you know them, because some of them you don't like, and some of them are going to be like, I don't think I like them that much. Okay, um, uh, this chord. Okay, you know D7. Now you got this chord. This is a G6. This is a beautiful chord. That's a good chord. Write that one down. That's a good one. The next chord in here is a G sharp diminish. Okay. Now you guys don't necessarily love diminished chords. You can do it as a bar and then do your middle and ring like that. Okay. I don't do it that way, but a lot of people do. Okay. I find this kind of wonky and awkward to do it that way. I use all four fingers: index, middle, ring, and pinky. Okay. Okay. And then know with diminished chords, this is if you need to tie a girl to the railroad tracks, this is the shape that you use. Okay, so that's that sound of, oh my gosh, I've just tied her to the railroad tracks. We're hoping the guy with the white hat on comes riding up over the top to save her, right? And that's the diminished chord. Okay, so that's a fun chord to know. It's when you first meet it, you don't really like it very much until you find out how useful it is for that exact thing. Also note that when we're singing and strumming it, we're going to use it in first position. But when we're doing the tough axe line, we're actually going to be up in fourth position. The weird part about this chord is it repeats every 4 frets. And so the same chord on 1 and 4. Okay. Next thing, measure 2, favorite chord of everybody, A minor 7, just wide open. Measure 2, we've got a D7. Okay, that's and I got it as an open. Okay. Notice at measure 3, we halfway through measure 3, you have the other D7. I like to call it the good D7. Okay, bar on 2, middle on 3. Okay. And for those of you who are fighting your bar chords a little bit, just take your middle finger, press down on the bar, and add your ring finger, and then you got a little bit more strength there. Okay, that's perfectly fine. That's not going to teach you a bad habit either, by the way. It's perfectly fine to do that. You'll see a lot of, like, if you watch videos of guys, playing guitar or whatever, it's pretty normal to see even top level professionals adding in their second finger when they're playing a guitar, just to make sure everything's down tight. Measure 5, we have a G7, index finger here, middle finger here, ring finger there. Okay. Notice at measure 6, there's a C6, which is also wide open. And notice there's a difference between the name of it is C6 in measure 6, where it was A minor 7th up in measure 3 and measure 2. I wouldn't lose sleep over it. There's a musical theory reason why it's like that. You don't need to know that. Okay, you don't need to worry about it. Just know, same chord, different names. Okay, measure 6.5. You've got this diminished shape. Okay, it's the same as our G6, only on 1. That's good. Ukulele is a diminished monster. It loves diminished chords. Now we're going to wander on through there, way down halfway through measure 15. You've got your E7, bump, bump, bump. Okay, index finger here, middle finger here, ring finger there. Beautiful chord. Love that chord. That's a very useful chord, by the way. And I believe that's it chord-wise. Okay, so as always, I'm going to go ahead and strum and sing it. It's not going to go well for your ears, but it doesn't matter. You're there working on getting these chords on if possible. Okay, and if you're a great singer, I expect you to be singing nice and loud to cover up my voice. Okay, from the beginning, we're going to count in 4, and then we're going to go ahead and strum that first beat. Boom, say it's only. So we're going to count in 4 and then start strumming. For most of the measures, you're just going to strum twice and then get onto your next chord. As we've talked about a billion times, don't fall asleep on the chord you're on. Once you get your chord on, look at the next chord. Look always at least one chord ahead. Usually I will try to look 2 chords ahead because I need to know what tragedies are about to befall me. And so I always want to be looking a little bit ahead. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Say it's only a paper moon sailing hanging over a cardboard sea. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. To the top. Yes, it's only a canvas sky hanging over a muslin tree. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. Without your love, it's a honky-tonk parade. Without your love, it's a melody played in a penny arcade. There's a fermata, let it ring out, and then go. It's a Barnum and Bailey world, just as phony as it can be. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believe in me. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Make sure to hit that last chord, no matter how poorly everything else has gone. That's an awesome way to end this song, right? That's Tin Pan Alley, in my mind, 6th chords. All right, so that's basically how the song goes. Remember, on the website, you have MP3s of the sheet music, so you can go listen to the exact recording of what you're supposed to be playing, rather than trying to do what I do, which is iffy at best. I don't want to play through the melody today because we've got this other song we want to get to as well. I would say the only challenge with the melody on this one, the straight melody, is that you've got some 5, 6, and 7s. Okay, so really, there's going to be a lot of times in this song we're playing in 4th position or even 5th position. If you're the melody player, if you're the lead ukulele player, that it's going to make sense to just slide your whole hand down and play those 5, 6s, and 7s. Those show up quite a bit, that little run there. And so you will decide, is it make more sense for me to do middle, ring, and pinky, or is it going to make more sense at that moment to play index, middle, ring? Okay, both of those are 100% acceptable when you're playing that melody. And I would say overall the melody is not brutal, but you do get a lot of 5s sneaking in there. So sometimes if you're playing in 1st position, you're going to have your pinky sneak up to those 5s. But more often than not, you're probably going to want to either go to 4th position or 5th position to play those upper melody notes. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to double check that I'm not missing out on anything over here on chat. Paper chase, paper boom. Oh yeah, it was written by Arlen. he was involved in Wizard of Oz. Forgot about that. Paper Moon. Let's see. It's another great one. Measure 5.5 chord, hard to get the 5 string. Measure 5.5. 5.5. Oh, we're going to talk about that right now. That's the other G7. All right, let's walk through very quickly. Let's walk through the tough uke, and then we'll just play it one time through, I think, at the end. Okay, let's make sure, because there's a number of important changes in the tough uke line we want to be aware of. So, one, when you start the song, okay, you got your regular, just the G6, beautiful. Hit a couple of melody notes, and then I have this memorized because there's no way when you know that it's coming, I might as well just know I'm going to blow it. In order to get the tough uke correctly, you need to take this G sharp diminished up to 4. Okay, so you're going to take these two fingers on 4 and these 2 fingers on 5. If you want to do a bar chord, you can. Again, I don't do that because I find it very wonky and awkward to hit, but I do these 4 fingers. Okay, and then now your melody note is covered with your pinky. Okay, so that's the big thing. I will go ahead, that first measure, that's what I'm going to be playing. Okay, next measure, you got a C chord, hit the 2, and then you got a nice D7 right there. Okay, measure 3, you're going to have to hit that open, hit the 2 2s, a real honest to God D7. How rare does that come up? And that's beautiful. And then go back to your G6. Okay, and that feels like a real G chord at the end of that measure. So you'll probably see when I do it, my G chord will magically hop on, even though it doesn't really have to. You're just getting that 3 covered. Okay, measure 5. This is not an uncommon thing in Tin Pan Alley music. You're hanging out on the G chord, and then all of a sudden, which is our major chord, then they want you to jump into the 7th chord. It's not. It makes no sense. It sounds great, but it makes no sense, right? So they're going to want you to go grab this G7, and then go hit the 2s. And then that measure Tanya was talking about, halfway through measure 5 in the tough uke line, I'm going to spread some coronavirus around. I'm all by myself here today. The whole building's empty. I don't know. You can come kill me if you need to. The G7, this other G7, this is your G7 when you learn it in basic ukulele. Okay. Next level ukulele, we got to deal with this G7. And this is going to come up all the time, guys. So just get comfy with it. 5, 5, 7. Okay, I use my ring finger when I'm playing ukulele because I just feel like I'm more in charge of that. And the other reason is if I can use my ring finger here, that leaves my pinky available, because that note there is going to come up pretty often when I play this chord. And so just kind of get you ready. It's going to get you ready for that. So try to use your ring finger there. I know it's a bit of a stretch when you're first doing it. It's kind of a bummer. Okay, but you'll get it. Okay, you just got to get this muscle and connecting tissue to get stronger and also looser at the same time. Okay, and then you'll notice that the melody there goes 5, 6, and then 7. Okay, so as you hold that G7, you probably just hold it and then pull away to get 6 and 7. It's going to make the okay. Then you got a 3. And then you have what looks like an A7, which is underneath that C sharp diminished. It looks like an A7 because the melody is not the right note. So it's 0, 1, 0, 0. Okay, then go grab the 3. And you got your D7 right there. And you're going to have to reach your pinky way up to get that 7. A little inconvenient. Then next thing is all 5s with your melody finger on the 6. Hear that 7th sound in there? And that's a beautiful D7. That's another D7 for you. And then hit the 6 again. And then it looks like a regular G chord to me. And then a nice D7. Takes you back to the beginning of the song. All right, let's go through the bridge. Make sure that, or the B section, I guess, in this case. This song's written as AABA, which is typical in Tin Pan Alley music. So let's go through this B section real quick, and then we'll play it. All right, measure 9, end up with that G chord, okay? Give it that rest, that little rest that's sitting there. That means something in this case. With me, without, right? So you really do want the sound to kind of stop there. And what I do when I'm stopping sound is just take my hand palm, right? If I can, I like to slide up from the bottom, but just kind of get your ukulele to stop for just a second. I don't very often put in rests in my arrangements because this is the ukulele. We don't really have a ton of sustain in this instrument anyway, so we really don't need to put in rests very often. But in this case, I think it made a lot of sense to just stop the A section, move on to the B section. Okay. All right, let's give it a try. From 9, we're going to hit that in 3. And then we got that C chord, but the melody's wrong again. It's an A melody, so a note. So let's just hit strum it. Feels like a C6. C sharp diminished. And then a G chord. Then a couple of 3s. And I just roll my ring finger down to get those. Jump up, grab the 7. Probably come back to your middle finger or possibly your ring finger for the 0005. This shape comes up all the time, guys. It's a D7 when you're holding a B note on the top. Okay, and that beautiful tone, by the way. Hit the 2 again, and then get a regular G chord. It says G6, but the melody is here. Okay, hit the 3 again. Same exact idea. And then this time we're going to, instead of going to the G chord, we're going to the G7. And then from there to the E7, which is super cool, you're just going to move your index finger up to the top. Play the 1 and the 2. And then I like, you can use your pinky here, but I like to slide my finger up. And you just get that zip up. Sounds kind of fun. Hit the 1 and the 2. Go to page 2. This is the only thing that's a bummer. I went ahead and gave you the little chord chart right underneath there, that D7. You're going to put a bar on 5, middle finger on 6, so it's really a D7, and then the melody happens to be hanging out on 7, so you're probably going to use your ring there. The nice part is that once you get that on, you can play the whole entire measure with that. Okay, beautiful, right? And then the second half of the last half of the song is the same as the first half, so we don't need to go through it. Okay, so we're going to play it now. Let me double check that I said. Let's see. Jerry's another great one. Major 5.5. Joyce says, I love the harmony to the song. You know, what's fascinating about Tin Pan Alley stuff is how, I don't know, it's either the beginning of the modern era or the end of the romantic era. I don't know how you think about it, but the stuff that's here is just stinking wonderful. And there's so many tunes that have not necessarily been forgotten, but aren't played very often from that Tin Pan Alley area. And I'm bringing them back. That's my job. I'm going to bring back Tin Pan Alley. All right. It is a different style, a different time, all of that stuff. All right. From the top, let's play the whole thing. Oh, heck, let's just do the repeat as well. So we're going to play down to 8. We'll go back up to 1, play down through 7, skip number 8, and then play 9 through the end. Are we ready? Oh, we're hanging on to everybody today, okay? This is exciting. All right, from the top, not fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Top. Did you get it? Go. Don't let up till your ukulele is completely dead, right? Hold on to the very end. That's a good song. That's a good song. That's a good arrangement, too. That's fun to play. All right. It's Only a Paper Moon. If you are not from 1920s or 1930s, probably don't know that song, but now you do. And now you know you got work to do. All right. Lovely. I heard all you guys playing. You sounded brilliant. Let's go to Moon River. Let's finish it up with a little jazz. Moon River. And thoughts for the week. We're got tomorrow. We are going to be doing Moon River Scarborough Fair, which a lot of you love that tune if you are from the 60s. Okay. And unfortunately, it's very hard to play on ukulele. I did Moon Shadow. A lot of you guys who are from the 70s know Cat Stevens, and he wrote that. The problem with Cat Stevens is everything he does is tied over into the next measure. So I cleaned it up a little bit. It doesn't sound exactly like Cat Stevens, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'll tell you how to take care of that. And I haven't finished By the Light of the Silvery Moon yet. I got busy working on Summer Institute stuff last night. And so I will have By the Light of the Silvery Moon posted here probably this evening in enough time for a class tomorrow. And I'm only going to do the chorus part. So I think it's 16 measures. It's not a ton of work that we're going to have to do on that one. And it's fun. Tanya mentioned that she's loving the moon theme. The moon theme is great. By the way, I'm going to stick 2 other moon songs, at least 1, maybe 2, into the members section. So if you haven't decided to be a member, it's super cheap and super fun, and you get secret arrangements over on the membership page. So give it some thought. That's my commercial for the website. All right, let's see. Let's do Moon River. Now, many of you guys were here a few weeks back when we did this, so I'm not going to spend as much time working through this. We only have a few minutes anyway, but do know that there's a couple of moments in this song that are really hard, but for the most part, it's going to be one of those things where you decide how you want to play it. And when it gets to these really mean parts that inevitably happen in jazz music, be okay with chintzing out, right? If you get to measure 16 and you're like, what the heck is going on there? Just jump up and play the melody, right? 3 2 0 2 0 3 0 3, and then you're back to G7, and then you can drop back down onto that tough uke line. There's no rule. There's no ukulele police. They're not going to come to you and say you were playing tough uke for the first 14 measures, and then you chipped out and you went and played ukulele line for 4 measures. Nobody's going to arrest you for that. And not only that, and I got a ton. I'm looking at my chat room here right now. There are so many legit musicians in there right now. They may or may not admit this to you, but sometimes even professional musicians will chintz out, right? You're like, oh God, I got this part coming up. My brain was somewhere else. I'm going to simplify here to get through this one thing and get myself back on track. It's a very normal professional musician thing to do. So you should not feel as an amateur musician that you're breaking a rule or doing something that's just shockingly horrible. I think when you're doing your performance exam for your master's degree, you have to play perfectly. Outside of that, I'm not sure you ever have to play perfectly. And I would say, I don't think you should even try. Okay, that's my dirty little secret, is that, hey, you get to a hard section, go find a way to make it a little easier for yourself, and then move on with that. Have a wonderful day, Joyce. We'll see you soon. All right, so Moon River chords, basic chords. Those of you guys that are singers, really very lovely chords, easy to get along with. Let's run through a little bit of it. I don't know if I should do the whole thing or not. Do we have time? Yeah, let's run through it just the first time through. So give me a C chord. 1, 2, 3. Moon River, wider than a mile. I'm crossing you in style someday. Just make sure you know your D minor, and then E7. Old dream maker, you heart breaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. 2, 3, and G7. Okay, the next section is exactly the same. Okay, nothing fancy going on there. The only time it gets a little messy is when you get to 29 or so. We're after the same, and you have this F7. I actually have decided that should probably be, it makes more sense for it to stay a D7 through measure 32. Rainbow's End. But if you do an F7, you'll get away with that one too. Rainbow's blues, and I think the second time through is probably better as an F7. The first time through, I think it's perfectly fine as a D7. And then everything else is exactly more of the same that you've already seen. So there's nothing particularly challenging about the chord structure on this. What I do think is challenging is singing it, right? You're up against Audrey Hepburn's version, and she's going to win probably, right? So I let you know, so a few of you are pros out there, so you'll be fine. But for the most of us, we got no hope. In the movie, Audrey Hepburn is playing a guitar. It's a small guitar, so we want it to be a ukulele real bad, but it's a small guitar, and it turns out there's also a symphony backing her up, and they don't really show them too much. All right. If you don't know the melody, go listen to the MP3. This is a world-class song. This is one you should probably know. Okay. Finally, Tough Uke. Let's walk through it. Okay. And there are moments that are really a kind of a bummer. Okay. So here's your first. When you start this thing, the intro, I always preset my fingers for 3 and 7, and then I'd go to the 5s. It's a beautiful beginning. You can do it with your claw. Okay. Both of those, that's an awesome way to do it. I play this thing as I do with most of these songs that have a lot of lilt in them. I usually go thumb. Okay, but actually try it both with your claw as well. Let's do it. Okay, A minor with the 5, back to 3. F chord, slide your middle ring finger under to get the 2. Open, go to the 3, open, and then back to the 003. Let that ring. That same F chord with your ring finger underneath the 2. Hit the 0, measure 9, a beautiful D minor right there. And then you got this, grab this E7, hit the 0, let that ring, 003, hit the 2, don't rush, hit the 3. Oh, strum. Here's where things get real ugly. You've got to get your bar chord on 2, and then you got to get that shape in front of it. Okay, so it's this string and right there. Okay, so that's what you're going to do first. Measure 16, pull off your middle finger. Okay, go to a regular D7, drop down to that E minor 7, pull back to the A7, add the 3, and then go to D minor. Add your pinky for the D minor 7th, and then go to a G7. Okay, that's the toughest part of the song. And do a little arpeggio pick through there, and then measure 21 through measure 27 is identical. Okay, so let's go to measure 28. Okay, you're going to hit this E7 chord, and it's a little bit different here. We're going to hit a 0, 0, 3 beats, 0, 3, and then a D7 chord. Okay, now if you're feeling spicy and you want to do an F7 with your pinky up on 5, that's not how it sounds. That's going to sound the best. I have gotten where I just simply, after that D7, just grab the 5. Okay, so I've simplified that a tiny bit just to grab the 5 and the 3 by themselves. And then I go back to the main idea at 33. Okay. She really did sing it in the movie, I remember, but was dubbed in, it was dubbed in My Fair Lady. You see how that Audrey Hepburn works. So then the whole idea basically repeats. Notice at 42, you've got a G7 run. Okay, so you come into measure 42, and then you're going to play. Okay, and so for those of you with traditional training, you love your scale runs, right? And then that sends you back to the beginning of the song. Okay. take your yellow highlighter at the beginning of measure 38 and put a yellow line right there at the beginning of 38. That's where the first repeat ends. And then a yellow highlighter at the end of 42. That's where the second repeat begins. Okay. And the only thing that's different at the ending, I've worked on this ending a million times and I'm pretty satisfied finally with what we have here. So go to 43. You're going to have an A minor with your ring finger up here. And then you're going to do a bar chord with your pinky on 5. And then lose your pinky. And then a little bit of an arpeggio here. Now you have this famous G7 that Tanya was grumbling about earlier, right? Here it shows up again, doggone it. Okay, 2 5s and that ring finger there. And in this case, you are going to put your pinky on. Lose your pinky. And then 003. And I like to put two down here. Okay, so 0 0. Okay. Now, just a little hint. You can do a regular C there, and it sounds a little more final. I have a song I wrote years ago called Robot Army, and it starts with that is the first thing. So I always follow Moon River up with Robot Army. Okay, that's because I'm not that, there's something wrong up here. All right, we want to play the whole thing, top to bottom. Okay, hang in with me. We can do this. Top to bottom, just as written, hope for the best. If you get lost, jump up a measure or two, jump back in. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Moon River. All right. Busy day, lots of music, cramming it into your head. Go home, work on a little bit. Remember, on Friday, we're going to replay all of this stuff for our concert. And so that gives you a couple more days to get that under your belt. I think we have nine songs for Friday's concert. So go make sure you got them all. I will get By the Light of the Silver Marine Moon posted up there. And then if you have questions, comments, or concerns, send me an email and then be patient because I'm way behind on email again for some reason. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. It's beautiful. This is basically a perfect day here in Colorado. So hopefully I'll send a little bit of that perfection to you. And play ukulele, stay inside. Don't listen to them. That bug's still out there waiting to get you, and we don't want you to get got. So be cool. Thanks for being here, you guys. Let's say adios to everybody as they're walking out of rehearsal. Let's see. Linda says, Luis, have a great day. MB, thanks so much for being here. Really, that's super, super exciting to see your name on the list. Kat, as always, good to see you too. Shine on. I know, right? Shine on Harvest Moon. That's another one that I gotta probably type up for you guys. Jerry, whew, a lot of work, right? Sandy, right there. Keep going, man. That's beautiful. Tanya, it's been always been raining where Tanya is. Tanya. Well, that's sometimes good, right? Let's see. Laurel, have a great day. Phyllis, have a good day. Valerie, good to see you. Pauline, you're absolutely wonderful. Brandon, you're the man. You made it through your whole entire. Well, tomorrow's your last day of the beginning stuff, right? And then you're good. You're able to do it again. Alex, thanks for being here. Fran, Linda. And Kathy, those moon songs are awesome, right? We could just live those. Nick, in from Germany. How exciting to see you on there. Spaceship songs tonight. Yeah, heck yeah, right? Moon always goes to spaceships. The theme from E.T., right? There you go. Good to see you, Nick. Lindy, have a great day. Chris, wonderful. By the way, Nick, go to bed. It's late in Germany. Go to sleep. Lynn, have a great night. Guys, everybody, I'm going to end the stream. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Tomorrow. Have a great night.